What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Timeout. Got a new face on the show today, Little Z, Zachary Zyla. If you guys know Coach Zy, this is his brother. Everyone give him a warm welcome hand for that. We're jumping in live, right in the middle of the New Orleans Saints Eagles game. It's a good battle going on right now. We are gonna get into the other NFL games too as well. While this is going on, we'll give our take to it if something big happens in the Eagles Saints game here. We'll cut into that too as well. So kind of a little bit of a live podcast here for you guys. But first, let's get started. The Chiefs absolutely dismantling the Colts yesterday. What do you guys have to say about it? Let's go, Parker. Dr. Pepper, let's start with you. Start it off right.
Uh, Tough game to watch for me, you know. You guys know I had the Colts winning, and I got obliterated. Couldn't do anything on offense. You know, my man Andrew Luck, Captain Luck, couldn't do crap. So it was disappointing, but gotta give the Chiefs a lot of credit. And, yeah, it's really showing that Mahomes, you know, a lot of people question, even me, you know, his first big game, his first playoff game, when he performed. And he did, you know. He went out there and got the job done. It's not like he had pretty good passing yards, but he didn't, you know, throw for 3 touchdowns or anything. But he managed the game well and got the job done easily, you know. It really helps when you have Tyreek Hill, you know. I mean, he makes the whole defense look slow, you know. He flies by all of them, and yeah, I mean, I had the Colts winning on my upset pick, and sadly they didn't. So I started the weekend off 0-1, but gotta give the Chiefs a lot of credit because I mean, I think this was their first time, like this is their first AFC Championship game at Arrowhead next week. So you know, it's big for them, big time for Kansas City.
Listen, I just want to, Parker, can we go back to when we're doing the predictions, right?
Yeah,
You called me crazy because I said the Chiefs defense was going to show up.
yeah, I did.
You were talking crap about how I told you they blanked the Raiders. They were going to show up big this week. I had to rub that one in your face a little bit. Um, I think Mahomes kind of solidified his MVP ballot. Um, they picked him over Drew Brees for the all-week quarterback, and I think that's kind of indications of how the MVP race is going to go. Like you said, though, Dr. Pepper, he didn't throw for 3 touchdowns or anything like that, but he was super efficient. They moved the ball down the field. We didn't see Spencer Ware, but Damian Williams ran the ball really well, had over 100 yards and a touchdown. But the defense, man, they stepped up. They shut Luck down. No receiver topped 100 yards. The run game never got going. I mean, besides a block punt that kind of shifted momentum, the very slightest bit, the Colts really didn't do much. I get it. The game was snow. It's another big aspect. The weather. The Colts play indoors almost all year round, so I think the snow that kind of phased them a little bit too as well. But the Chiefs absolutely manhandled this one. They dominated like I suspected they will. But they got a big test. Come next week is going to be a big test.
Go ahead, Zachary.
Well, I don't. Yeah, Colts had a good season and everything, but I don't get why everyone was trying to hype the Colts up so much. They went last year in which they barely could protect Andrew Luck. They did a lot better this season, but they just struggle offensively still. They only ran the ball 14 times. Yeah, I know it's a pass offense game, but if you only run the ball 14 times, it's pretty easy for the defense to be like, hey, let's drop back and have Andrew Luck try to throw underneath routes more than try to go deep. T.Y. Hill had 10 targets, only got 4 receptions out of it. For T.Y., that's really not that well. Then Kansas City, they have too many weapons on that field. It's hard to protect them when you have one of the fastest receivers. Then they added Sammy Watkins too this year, so I've been telling people all year Patrick Mahomes was going to be the real deal, and everyone thought it was crazy. The dude could throw the football.
I think I called it. I think my score prediction was 35-14, so I was pretty close. But the Chiefs were just the better team, and they were playing at home. I think it just shows when you have a bye week, especially when you have to, if you're playing on the road in the wild card, you got to travel all the way back after you win and then travel again to where you're going to go play. It's just really hard to do, and what it comes down to, the biggest questions about the Chiefs was their running game. And, Damian Williams goes 25 carries, 129 yards. If he's going over 100 yards, that's way too much. You're not going to beat the Chiefs if he's going over 100 yards. So, I think that question without Kareem Hunt, how good they are. So, yeah, next week is going to be a battle. But, just for the Colts, they just don't, for whatever reason, when they get in big games in the playoffs, they don't click. So, but overall, I'd say probably a good season for them. Probably reached farther than a lot of people thought they could. I mean, there was a lot of questions whether we thought Andrew Luck could make it through a year. And so to be able to finish where they did, they were outmatched. Mahomes 27 of 41, no touch on me. It wasn't like he lit it up, but he did plenty. He did just enough to make sure. And, with their running game, and then, when you got Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins, those three guys, they're dangerous. It comes down to that. And, next week's going to be a matchup. You probably got, in my opinion, you got Brady the legend with a young gunslinger in Mahomes. And then you got Kelce, Gronk, probably two best tight ends going at it. And then you're going to mix in, like, the possession catcher of Julian Edelman versus the big play of, Tyreek Hill. So it's going to be interesting. For the Chiefs, in order to win that game, they had to have home field advantage. So it's going to be an interesting game. But I'd say a little disappointment in the Colts, but not a surprise to me being in Arrowhead and how loaded the Chiefs' offense is.
Absolutely.
I think you make a great point, Zai, with the Colts. Realistically, from last year, like Zach said, their offensive line was horrible, They couldn't protect anybody, no matter who was back there at quarterback. They couldn't protect anybody. Now, the way they started this year, they had a terrible start to the season, and to win, 10 of their last 11 games or something like that. So, and realistically, I know every year everyone is like, what's your goal? The Super Bowl. But, realistically, for them, with the team they had, it wasn't realistic. So, from the way they started and how their team was set up, I think getting this far was good stuff in the right direction for them, for sure.
Definitely. And I like what you said, Zai. Travis Kelce, right? I said that one. He was going to be a big factor, and he was, eclipsing 100 yards receiving, too. Chiefs had a roll on all cylinders. We'll see what happens next week. That's going to be the big test. It should be a really fun game to watch. You got a real veteran team versus a real young team with a lot of experience versus a team that really has no experience. And then you have, like I said, that the Patriots have been there year in and year out. So can they shut down this explosive offense of the Chiefs? We'll have to see next week. But let's dive into the next game. The late game on the slate. The Los Angeles Rams beating the Dallas Cowboys 30-22. This was a showdown right to the end. A lot of weird things happened in this game. So, does anyone want to start this one off? No, hush on.
I'll go first. I had the Cowboys winning, and I thought to play the Rams, I thought they played pretty tough. And when you look back on that 4th down and 1 that they got stopped about 7-8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter was kind of the difference, in my opinion. But overall, just again, kind of what I talked about. When you can get that bye and home field advantage, I think it just makes a little bit of a difference. Because statistically, you don't see, C.J. Anderson. They just ran the ball down the Cowboys' throat in the first half. And then that last drive, the Cowboys couldn't get off the field. So I thought I was a little surprised by that. But overall, the Rams are loaded talent-wise in the roster. I still am not sold on the Rams. They might get, there's a good chance they're going to get through the NFC just because, the NFC isn't as loaded as the AFC. But I'm not confident in them being a real contender. I don't think they can play with the Patriots or the Chiefs, depending on who makes it out of that one. So, but, the Cowboys, I think.
Guys, time out. They can't play with the Chiefs. They've already beaten the Chiefs this season, money.
The regular season win.
Fast.
Don't bring up regular season wins. I can remember a couple years ago the Chiefs beat the Patriots like 45-14, and then the Patriots went on to win the Super Bowl. So don't bring up regular season wins.
I get what you're saying because it's going on right now. Eagles only down by 3, after getting smoked against the Saints. But, buddy, they can definitely beat them. So I don't want to hear, no, they can't beat them. Easy, buddy.
I don't think so. But to finish off with saying the Cowboys, with Dak, Amari, and Zeke, the future is bright there. Personally, I'd like to see him move on from Jason Garrett and see if they can get a new name in there. But I don't know if Jerry will do that. So I think if they wanted to contend for a Super Bowl, that's what they would need to do. But I don't think Jerry will do it. But the future's bright there. They're going to be a team to compete in that division for a long time.
Absolutely. I agree with you, Zai. A lot of young pieces. One guy that kind of went under the shadows ever since, the trade for Amari Cooper was Mitchell Gallup. And, he balled out last night too as well. Had a great game, over 100 yards. But you kind of hit it right on the nail. That big difference was, again, the fourth down plays. And that's huge in the playoffs. And we've seen, midway through the fourth there, the Cowboys got stuffed. And then the Rams on 4th and goal, basically, it was either the possession after the next possession. They go for it, and C.J. Anderson scores a touchdown, which leads me into my next thing. When we were going over predictions, I put a lot of emphasis on Todd Gurley and, the way he's so talented and probably one of the most talented players when he steps on the field, that he was actually overshadowed by a C.J. Anderson who was kind of just picked up off the streets a couple weeks ago. He was unemployed. The Rams needed a running back to finish off the season. They had health issues. Mac Brown going down, the backup running back. It was one of those things, and they went and signed C.J. Anderson. And not only did he ball out in the regular season games, the final regular season games, but he walks into the playoffs and, over 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had more carries than Gurley too as well. It was one of those things where you look at this dude and he kind of has a dad bod, and then he goes out here, lines up behind quarterback, and just pounding right through the line of scrimmage. Like I said, he was the one that got the call on the 4th and 1 at the goal line and scored a touchdown on it. So it'll be neat to see. I don't know if Todd Gurley's not completely healthy. There was reports that he kind of looked a little bit skittish early on in practice this week. So that could have been something, a reason why his workload was cut down a little short. But it was definitely a fun game to watch. Amari Cooper and Marcus Peters, they went at it during the game. They went at it after the game. So that was a fun one to keep an eye on. But, yeah, when it's all said and done, I kind of called this in my prediction. The Rams pulled it out at the end. And that's what I think everybody knew this game was going to be close, because the Cowboys are right there on the edge of being, they're so close to actually putting it all together and being a Super Bowl contender. But I think you make a great point. Terrell Owens, T.O. tweeted it last night after the game too as well. I think a lot of people are tired of Jason Garrett being there. And I know, Zai, you said it, Jerry Jones, that's his boy. So it might be something to where, I don't know if they fire Jason Garrett, but I think they demote him at, best case scenario there. I think you should get canned. If I was Jerry Jones, I would can him. I think this was the best team by far. Jerry, they put it all out there. They gave up the 1st round pick for Amari. They put everything out there. They spent the picks on good draft picks. They spent money. So we'll see, though. I think they're young offensively and defensively. They could be another name that makes a big time signing in the offseason too in free agency. But I think if the Cowboys want to move forward, it starts at Jason Garrett. And so I think, this year, after they won the 1st round, it was like, okay, the NFC's, we should make it to the championship game. They didn't get there. You have a decision to make now. As far as the Rams go, again, I think we've really seen their defense pick up. Ezekiel Elliott was held under 100 yards. So that was a big one. Now, the secondary, they were off and on all night. Marcus Peters, Talib was back. He kind of looked rusty. He went out in the 3rd quarter because he thought he had a concussion. Came back in the 4th, played decent. But again, the story to tell, especially if the Rams want to compete against the AFC for a Super Bowl, is how's their defense going to play week in and week out? Because we know their offense is explosive. So we'll see. They'll have a tough game coming up next weekend too as well. So we'll see what the Rams can do. But Dr. Pepper, Zachary, you got anything on the game from last night?
I believe, in my opinion, I don't think Dak Prescott is that well of a quarterback. He really comes in and out. Like, there's some games he does really well, but there's some games that dude can't make a complete pass when people are wide open. Then same thing with the Dallas defense. They didn't get one single sack on Jared Goff last night, which It's a very big factor since they were known against the run and against rushing the quarterback. You can't just give up 200-something yards and not sack the quarterback once. They expect to win football games. I feel like their secondary did actually a good job, which is very surprising. But I just don't think that Dallas is there yet because they can't win on the road. They went 3-5 on the road this year. You can't win Super Bowls when you can't win it on the road.
Yeah, I mean, the game, for me, no surprise there. Cowboys taking the L. You know, I picked the Rams. I was dogging Zion because I was like, no way the Cowboys win. And it was a competitive game, you know. Probably, you know, everyone loves the Cowboys, of course, like they're America's team or whatever. But they just don't have enough. And like kind of like what Zach says, Zach is he's a good quarterback, but I don't think he's good enough to win a Super Bowl for Dallas. So even with the talent they have, you know, I don't think they ever will. And the Rams, you know, I've been a big fan of them this whole year. Like, just all their talent they have all across the line. I mean, their offensive line, like Zach just said, they gave up 0 sacks the whole night. I mean, he was barely pressuring the entire game, you know. Their offensive line stepped up. I mean, they rushed for, I think, the most yards the Cowboys ever gave up the whole season last night, you know. Went between Anderson and Gurley, you know, which was crazy. And to you gotta give him hats off to Anderson to come in as the backup and put up over 100 yards is amazing against the stellar Cowboys defense. So, I mean, it just comes down to giving Sean McVay, too, you know, giving him an off week and him being able to prepare for them, you know, get everything in order. And when push comes to shove, Rams were just a better team overall. And that's what it comes down to.
Yeah. All I know is, Zai, you got to be hurting right now knowing both your NFC Championship games are about to be out. Watching Mark Ingram bust off this big run here again, tearing up that Eagles defense.
A lot of time left.
Yeah, man, easy.
Oh, speaking of a lot of time left, I'm glad Dr. Pepper had to open up his mouth here because the big Bolts, we'll get into our next game, the Patriots dominating the Bolts. The Bolts, you know, they were, let's hear it, Chargers fans. There's a lot of time left, right? You guys had a late comeback, you know, not even close to being enough. The Patriots put it on cruise control halfway through the second quarter, ended up winning 41-28 in Foxborough. Let's start with you, Dr. Pepper. Do we got any comments from you?
I don't know where to start, fellas. The Chargers were very underwhelming today. It hurts, you know. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it, but as you all know, everyone listening, I had the Chargers to win the Super Bowl, and I'll never do that ever again. I don't know. It just goes to show. I mean, the Chargers. Who would have thought it would have just been a demolition by the Patriots? Like,
Well, I think me and Zai thought it was going to.
it's tough. I mean, I was really growing fond of this Chargers team, and then they let me down big time. I mean, for the Chargers, it was probably one of their biggest games in a long time, right? You know, they haven't won really anything in a while. Phillip Rivers never meeting Tom Brady in the playoffs. It was his time, you know? It was his time. And then to go out and lay an egg like that, yeah, they only lost by 13, but really, they lost by about 30, honestly. And that's just embarrassing. After the great season they had to just not win anything again, not even make it to the AFC title game. I mean, that's bad on their part. I think it just goes to show you can never discount Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, you know. He's made it to the AFC title game 13 out of 18 seasons, I think I saw, which is an obscene stat. And, never count them out. And I'm just saying right now, they're going to the Super Bowl. I don't care about the Chiefs. I'm never counting out Tom Brady again. They're going to the Super Bowl. No questions asked. I mean, the Chargers just terrible. might be the worst team in America right now.
It was funny because my dog Chief over here, he came up crying right on my lap, and I was like, man, he must have picked the Chargers too or something, because I was getting the same emotion out of you guys. Big Zai, what do you guys say about the game?
Well, nobody wins in Foxborough in playoff time, so I wasn't surprised. I kind of thought Patriots drove down first drive, too easy, and then, the Chargers responded right away with a bomb to Keenan Allen, and I was kind of like, oh, here we go. And then it was like 21 unanswered after that, and it just shows you between Sony Michel, James White, Rex Burkhead got into it. You got Iron Man Julian Edelman. You still got Gronk, who people have been like, oh, he hasn't done much, but still had a big play. The Patriots are the Patriots. They just somehow find a way to look better in the postseason than they do ever in the regular season. So, but they got to go on the road next week. It's going to be a challenge. But for this game, I just said just from the coaching aspect, and I think you saw a lot of that, is the Chargers had no chance. They had a pretty fairly new head coach that doesn't have a ton of postseason experience, and then you got Belichick and McDaniels there on the sideline. It's just not fair. And then you throw Tom Brady on top of that. So I wasn't too surprised. The Chargers probably scored more than I thought they were going to, but pretty easy win for my Pats, and we'll move on and take care of business next week.
Go ahead, Lil Z.
Big bend but not break by my Eagles defense too, by the way.
Yeah, great stop right there.
Seeing that.
Okay, so I don't think anyone thought the Chiefs were going to win this. Not Chiefs, Chargers were going to win this game. You're playing at Patriots in playoffs. Tom Brady, probably the best quarterback to play in the NFL in the playoffs.
Time out. Probably the best, Zach. He is the
They go.
best of all time. I will never not count on Tom Brady ever again. No, sir.
Dr. Pepper, you were just showing me some show that you love Colin Cowherd. He was like the 8th-ranked quarterback out of all the playoff quarterbacks, and you were loving it.
I was, and I'm a big Colin Cowherd fan, but
Oh, buddy.
Just stop.
we were both wrong.
Just stop.
Go ahead, Zach. Continue.
The other thing I noticed is how Melvin Gordon was supposed to be so good, and the dude only got 15 yards to carry. Like, I don't get how you're supposed to win a football game when your quarterback has to throw the ball 51 times. And the same thing with the Cowboys. The Patriots didn't give up one sack. So they really didn't. They just let Tom Brady sit back there and really just chuck the ball around. Same thing. The one thing that surprised me is their rookie running back is he did actually really well for being a playoff game, which I didn't. I knew he was gonna be good, but I didn't think he was gonna be as well as being in the Patriots system as he was. But it's just the Patriots. The 8-0 at home this year. You don't win when you play the Patriots at home. Just facts.
True. Yeah. Dr. Pepper, man, I hate to attack you like this either, but Zai, do you remember when we were on the podcast and the dude said that Melvin Ingram on the defensive end was going to be like the MVP of the game? Dude has 2 tackles. 2 tackles the entire game. Unreal, just a complete debacle by your pick there. But anyways, let's get back to this game. My thoughts on it. Obviously the rushing aspect was way out of hand. That could have been, due to the Chargers getting down so quickly early. But still, like you said, Gordon had 9 carries and only had, 15 yards or something like that. Like that is not efficient at all. And then on the other side of the ball, Sony Michel, who, the Patriots used a draft pick early on him for a reason. And, he balled out. James White in the passing game, he had 15 catches. That's kind of unheard of for, a backup running back coming out. And then Coach Zai over here, he's probably going to love this. But Julian Edelman, man, what a warrior. What a tough guy. I mean, I was watching that game and I see him. It was 2nd down and 14. And typical Tom Brady, Julian Edelman, 6-yard out route, slings it over there to him, and Edelman goes and gets the 1st down when he really didn't have to. I mean, let's be real, they're probably going to get that no matter what. But I think when a team sees that, and sees somebody working at that type of level, everybody's game elevates. So like, oh shit, hey, Julian's going to get it. Let's go get it, And they jumped on the Chargers early. Chargers had a late comeback. I'll be honest with you. I started eating. I wasn't even paying attention to the second half. I flipped it on the fourth quarter when I seen, Phillip Rivers slinging the ball all over the place. He actually didn't feel he had over 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, interceptions. So not bad stats out of Phil. But yeah, the curse continues. He couldn't get it done in the playoffs. We'll see what happens, next week with the Patriots. It's going to be a tough game. Kind of already poked at that one. But overall, you can't bet against Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, plain and simple. You can't do it. I think the Falcons learned the lesson. I think all the Chargers fans learned their lesson. It's something you can't do. So we'll see if the Patriots can get it done on the road. I don't expect anything different. You'll probably hear the predictions coming up soon from all of us here at the Timeout Crew. But let's dive into the game that's on currently. Let's see here. So Saints just kicked a field goal, so it's Saints 20, Eagles 14. Closing on the midway point in the fourth quarter here. What have you guys think of watching the game so far? It's been a good game to watch, definitely.
Well, probably going to look back on it and, Eagles were up 14-0 and Nick Foles throws an interception. Driving, that's probably going to cost them the game.
Easy, buddy. He's got it. They're going to go win it.
Because they had a chance. But I'm just thinking about it. If he can make that, if he doesn't turn it over and they at least get 3, they're up 17-0. Would have been big. Those are the mistakes you can't make. They gave the Saints life, and then, credit to Sean Payton, went for it on that fake punt early in the game, got him some life. But we'll see if the Eagles got some magic here in the fourth quarter.
We'll see.
I kind of show so the first half was a tale of 2 quarters, First quarter, the Eagles dominated. They were up 14-0 pretty quickly, making a statement. And then Saints, it was their quarter, the second quarter. They only scored 10 points, but definitely a tale of 2 quarters. And I think that, if the Saints end up winning, we'll definitely look back on going for it on 4th and 1, by Sean Payton and making it. Then they went on to score a touchdown, but I think it shows you gotta give a lot of credit to the Eagles. They got absolutely destroyed. A while ago playing that New Orleans here at the Superdome, they got smacked. It was and everyone thought the Eagles season was over. Ever since that loss though, they just haven't stopped since and thought going there playoff football and playing against the 1 seed and. To me, have a chance to win it, you gotta give them a lot of credit.
Did they throw a flag on pass interference right there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That sucked. Well, that's the thing, though. Eagles aren't out of it. They got the Philly Magic behind their back, so.
Nicholas
Go ahead, Zachary. What do you got?
Well, everyone was making a big deal at the beginning of the game. They're like, 14-0. I'm like, don't sleep on Drew Brees. Drew Brees is going to be a Hall of Famer. He's going to get their offense straight. They've given up 140 yards to Michael Thomas. The dude's one of the best receivers, and you give up 140 yards in a playoff game to the man. And the one thing the Eagles rushing doesn't really have a rushing game this game, which is not a big factor because the Saints DBs are actually pretty well. Lattimore is really good. But I just feel like the Eagles won't win this game. I feel like the Saints are going to – Drew Brees, if the Eagles score, Drew Brees will go down the drive and score, be the hero of New Orleans. How he's been for how many freaking years he's been there.
Eagles got to –
What were you saying, Parker?
Eagles got a punt, 4th down.
Telling you, I think the match is running out. It was. I agree with you, Zachary. You got to send something. Even if it's 2 people at Michael Thomas, it's just like, can somebody guard this dude right now? 10 catches, 140 yards, and a touchdown. Can anybody guard him? Raise a hands here or something. the Eagles, they got to turn it up one way or another. Saints defense playing good. The pick by Lattimore was huge. That was really, I think that was the turning point. I thought the Saints came out flat, which is kind of scary because when you're, this late in the playoffs, you can't come out flat, especially in front of your home crowd. So I thought Nick Foles played great until he threw that pick. We haven't seen much out of the Eagles' offense since then. Saints defense, give them all the credit in the world. They're playing well. Their offense is moving the ball. Zai, you kind of said it, though. Philly's defense isn't breaking. Bending, but they're not breaking. So if the offense can step it up, who knows? We could potentially have a really, really good game on our hands moving forward here. Hopefully everybody that's tuning in, all of our timeout fans are watching this as we're watching it too as well, since we are live here during the middle of the Eagles Saints game, closing on last few minutes of the fourth quarter. But I'll ask a question. We'll pop back into this if something big happens. But I'll ask all you guys a question. What is one thing you want to see from your NFL team that you're a fan of? What's one thing you want to see them do in the offseason that you think could help them? For me, it's make the playoffs. I'm a Lions fan, so it's make the playoffs for me. But if you're already there, contend for Super Bowl. Just what move would you like to see your football team do? Zai, we'll start with you since we know you're a Patriots lover and they're still in the playoffs. What would you like to see?
Well, in the offseason, we need to draft a young quarterback, somebody that we can hold on to. Brady's days are about done. Not saying he couldn't play 4 or 5 more years if he wants to, but I think at some point he'll shut it off, especially if they win a ring. So we need to find somebody that we can build around and win. And if he does play for 2 more years, who better to learn from than the best of all time? So I would love for that to happen, but whatever crap Belichick, McDaniels decide to do, I trust in. They've proven it over the years. So you look at Sony Michel's a great example. I think a lot of people overlooked him, and the Patriots give him he's a steal. But I think the quarterback's the one spot we need. We let Garoppolo go, so we got to be able to bring somebody in that we can trust and hand the keys over when it's time.
Who is the Patriots' backup quarterback right now? Do you know?
Brian Hoyer.
Is it Hoyer?
Yeah.
And then they got the young cat, right? The kid from, was it Northern Illinois or something like that?
I think so, yeah.
Yep. Zachary, what about you? What you got?
For the Steelers, I'm pretty sure Big Ben's gonna retire this year. I don't know what we're gonna do with Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown's situation. Everything's going downhill. My opinion, I want us to go and try to go get Teddy Bridgewater or someone who was killing it before his knee injury, who really hasn't got a chance to show it. So I feel like that would be a good sign. He's still young for a quarterback. After Big Ben, this is probably his last year, if I gotta be honest. He was debating it last year, came back, and they didn't have a good season. In the draft, hopefully we actually pick someone that's gonna be helpful. This year we drafted a safety who barely did anything. So I'm hoping we get secondary, maybe on an inside linebacker since Shazier, the whole Shazier injury. So
yeah, that was a big hit for the Steelers. I think everybody hopes he kind of battles back, and we'd love to see him play football again. I know it's a long stretch, but they gotta be with him and all his recoveries and stuff. He's doing a great job from what we've seen, so hopefully he keeps progressing. But if I had to say something with the Steelers too, that'd be a tough one. I think you just gotta throw dynamite in the toilet, let it blow up, and start over. Because it's a crap show over there right now. So Zachary, I feel bad because you're about to experience what the Lions continually go through. What me and Parker go through on a yearly basis.
No. It can't be that. It won't be that.
You got to think if I'm not as opposed to saying Big Ben is going to retire. It definitely could happen. Who knows if he's going to be the quarterback in Pittsburgh, even if he doesn't retire. So you lose him. You lose AB, who's a once in a lifetime, wide receiver. You lose Le'Veon, who again we've seen Connor pick up his slack, but James Conner isn't Le'Veon Bell either. So, I agree with you. You never know. It could be bad, but I think the Steelers have a couple good guys in their front office, so they could have a good offseason and come back and compete next year too, without those 3 names that we were discussing even. So, Parker, what do you got? I know your heart's hurting with me as a Lions fan, so let's hear from you first.
There's a lot to think about. I think it's a great question that you brought up. For everyone listening, and us, of course. But the Lions, I was very optimistic. This season. I don't know why, but last year, the year before, with Caldwell, they should have made the playoffs. Just fell, just short the last week. So this year, I was coming in like maybe that they can get that playoff win, and that's all I really want. But isn't they haven't won a playoff game since the '90s, So in my lifetime, I've never seen them win a playoff game. I've only seen them play in a playoff game a few times. I would say getting to the playoffs though, kind of like Trav said. But I don't know. Realistically, if you were asking me for this next season, what's realistic? I would say at least like me a contender. But what I would love to see, maybe not this next season, but in 2 years, contend for the NFC North. They have not won their division in a long time. You see, the Bears were struggling this year. I hope to see more of that, But I think Aaron Rodgers will get back on track. But, just
Back Bears.
I just hope they stop being in last place in the North,
I hear you. Yeah, it's rough ride being a Lions fan, man. Especially a diehard, dedicated Lions fan. I was young, but we went through the 0-16, the Joey Harringtons of them all, and yeah, it's a tough one. I do think so. If you were to ask me last year, going into the offseason, what needs to be done, I wouldn't have said a coaching change. Now, I do think we've got one of the better coaches in the NFL, especially, schematic wise and X's and O's. I think Matt Patricia is definitely the guy. I think Jim Caldwell was a little bit more of a, he's a better players coach. I think he got the guys to play for him 110% every week, but it was tough. Ever since Calvin Johnson left, has the talent really been there? Is Matt Stafford the quarterback you want leading your team? Those type of questions. So yeah, if you were to ask me the same question I just asked you guys last year, it would just be to add more talent to the roster. This year, with Matt Patricia's first year on the belt, I expected better, but in reality, I think, this was our point. This was probably the realistic point of where we're going to be our first year. So hopefully, Matt Patricia gets his guys, get some more of his guys in there that are going to work hard. But if there was one thing that I really want the Lions to do, and it kind of breaks my heart saying this, it really does, but it would be to trade Matthew Stafford. I am on that bandwagon. I think, now listen, it's no discredit to Matthew Stafford. I think he's a great quarterback. He's even a better guy. He's a better father, good husband. But man, we thought he was going to be the savior of Detroit Lions franchise, and he hasn't worked out to be that. And I think this year was a year that he really didn't look like the Matt Stafford that we've seen in the past. I thought he regressed quite a bit this year. So I think it's time. He's 30, right? We just signed him that huge contract, which don't get me started on that. But yeah, I think let's move on from it. Let's move on from the experience. Let's move on from Matthew Stafford. Get a new quarterback at helm. Maybe a younger guy. We see it. The younger cats in the NFL right now, these younger quarterbacks are playing well. They're making the playoffs. Older guys, Drew Brees, a Hall of Famer. Tom Brady's a GOAT. Besides that, there's a lot of young guys right now late in the playoffs. And I think Stafford, he's past his prime. He's going to keep regressing. Time to move on. So that's why I would like to see the Lions do. I got my pen and paper out here. I could write down a whole list if you guys really wanted me to. But that's the one thing I think it's time to move on to Stafford.
I disagree with you, Trav. Not gonna lie.
Uh-oh.
Here's why. I think right now you kind of see you trade him. Don't really know because he didn't have an off year, but not really sure what we would get for him, But also, I think you got to think about the draft class this year. There's not a ton of, great quarterbacks in the draft class. I mean, you got Dwayne Haskins and maybe Kyler Murray. The other guys never barely heard of him, you know? So it's like, I think he's good enough to lead us to, you know, the playoffs and hopefully a victory, but, you know, I think it's not. So they got a lot of good young pieces, I think, so they got to build on that. Who they draft this year is huge, I think, for their future. Like, that first pick they have in the top 10, that's huge. So I don't think trading Stafford's the answer. I think they just got to build on what they got.
Dr. Pepper?
Hmm.
Who are they taking in the first round? Who are the Lions taking in the first round?
Probably a corner.
Probably corner?
Maybe that guy from LSU.
That's who I would love to see Greedy Williams in a Lions jersey.
I would too.
I gotta agree with Dr. Pepper that trading Matthew Stafford is crazy.
Thank you.
And here's why.
Down.
You have to have a quarterback in the NFL.
And he's shown that he's good enough.
And when you think about trying to go out and get better, that's hard to do. I mean, you think about all the teams that have quarterback problems, which is about half the league, if not more.
Yeah.
I mean, you do not want to go down that road again as a Detroit Lions fan. And think about this. Patricia came in. They kept Jim Bob Cooter. He's gone now, but they kept him because Stafford had a good relationship and the offense had been decent. Maybe Patricia and Jim Bob just didn't get along. So let Patricia bring in his own dude to run an offense. Let's see what can happen. And they traded Golden Tate away. They had some injuries. So Stafford's stats aren't going to look as good. But the defense towards the end of the year was playing well for the Lions. They were keeping them in some games. So, but you can't get rid of Stafford because you're not going to get better than that probably. I mean, you can't take that chance to say, hey, we're going to go try to find us a Tom Brady. Like, it's not going to happen. So you got to keep with what you have because Stafford is better than a lot of guys in the league.
It's all part of the plan, though.
Wait, time out. Saints just missed a field goal.
Really?
So they're only up 6 still. Eagles have the ball under 3 minutes.
Magic once again, buddy.
Absolutely.
That's a tough one. But, Zai, it's all part of the process, though. You trade, so let's be honest.
Just give me a name. What would you trade him for?
A bag of popcorn. I don't give a shit. I mean, it don't matter.
So you're okay with going 2-14 next year?
Oh yeah. You want to know why? You want to know why?
That's crazy.
Trevor Lawrence with the first round, with the number 1 overall pick.
So you're banking on it. So that dude can't come out for 2 more years.
So that's all right. We'll just throw it away for the next 2 years.
So for 3 years, the Lions are going to tank it. They're just.
Nah, I'm not having it.
No, I'm cool with it. If Matt Patricia says, listen, Trevor Lawrence is quarterback of the future.
I mean, he ain't going to be a great quarterback.
He could blow out his knee.
You're going to get a stopgap. You're going to get a stopback, a quarterback in free agency probably that'll sign a 1-year deal.
Who?
There's quarterbacks out there, buddy.
Mark Sanchez?
Mark Sanchez might be able to win you 4 games.
Terrible. No, I'm not watching that.
You sound crazy right now.
Yeah, you're crazy. What do you want?
My boy Jake Rudock just got picked up by the Dolphins, or else I would say him because I thought that dude was going to be the next Tom Brady, but Lions never gave him a shot.
Quick question. What do you think they would get for Matt Stafford if they traded him?
Probably mid-round, second, third round pick. You got to think a team like the Jaguars would love that dude right now.
First round, third round.
If you're going to trade Matthew Stafford, it has to be multiple picks. I mean,
yeah, you got to get multiple.
Cowboys gave up a first-round pick for Amari Cooper.
Yeah, I mean.
What do you think Stafford with his age and contract? Do you think he's like? I mean, do you think you can get that much for him? Do you think he's still a franchise quarterback?
He's got 5 really good years left.
Absolutely.
Minimally 5.
I mean, wait. Speaking of a guy that played today, I think kind of you can compare to Phillip Rivers. Never really won a big playoff game. I mean, and he's a really good quarterback. We think he's a Hall of Fame. No.
So you're content. Here's the thing: is I want to see
time out.
The Lions are a couple pieces away from contending for the playoffs.
I agree. And time out, Tram, right now. I think the Lions haven't even started. You start over. They haven't even really started. I mean, they might as well. I don't know.
I mean, we're gonna have quite a bit of cap if we let Ziggy Ansah go, which we need to do because that was another bust of a pick. Here's the thing: is that The worst part is the Lions draft terrible. I mean,
I agree.
you
So
know,
do the Pistons. And Detroit Pistons do too.
okay, well, we can all disagree. All Detroit teams draft terrible, really, but it's part of being a Detroit fan. But I mean, you gotta blow. Here's the thing: is I want to compete for a Super Bowl. Like Chargers fans are like, okay, Philip Rivers, you've been here for 40 years.
Baby steps, buddy. A Super
Yeah.
Bowl? You haven't won a playoff game in your
You gotta
lifetime.
waste the time for the playoffs, buddy.
Yeah, like how about win your division?
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Well, listen, I don't want to be content with being like, okay, Matthew Stafford's going to get us to the playoffs and lose in the wild card or divisional week every year. Like, why? I don't want to see that.
Well, you got to start getting there before you can complain about it.
Time out, fellas. Game's over.
Parker, you're out of timeouts, buddy.
No, wait. Nick Foles threw it right. Hit Alshon Jeffrey right in the hands. Deflected off from interception Saints.
Yeah, go Saints.
That's awful.
Who that?
He's got motor fingers.
Who that?
Now, if you told me that you would trade Stafford for Nick Foles, I might believe it.
Nick Foles could be a perfect replacement. He's going to be a free agent this upcoming year.
Well, you're going to have to pay big bucks for him after what he's done.
Dude, I'll take big balls Nick Foles on the Lions. That dude's got what it takes. He's been there, done that.
That's true.
Yeah, under the 2-minute warning here, I mean,
The game's over.
here's the thing is, Alshon Jeffrey just let that ball go directly through his hands. The dude's wide open. He didn't get hit.
Train him. They gotta train him right now.
Every young receiver,
More.
every young receiver out there, listen, that's bad. That's bad. I mean, he had an extra popcorn before that play or something.
That's tough.
That's a tough.
Tough weekend for Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, what were you, like 1-3, 0-4, or what?
1-3. Easy. 0-4. Easy.
1-3. Zai, what'd you go? 2-2?
2-2.
Man. Zai, little Z, what'd you go?
4-0.
Yeah, that's what I like to hear. 4-0.
I mean, hey, you gotta give me a little respect. I took $300, so easy.
What? A little respect from somebody who picked the Chargers to go to the Super Bowl?
Bro, I think you were smoking some before you picked.
Still got the.
Buddy.
You're going to roll with the Patriots to the Super Bowl. That's all that matters.
I hear you with that, but yeah, good week for me though. 4-0. All my teams in the championship, their conference championship games. You know, not all of us can say that. I get it. Zai, that was tough for you, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, can't catch it for him. There's not much you can do about that.
The NFC's tough. I agree with that. Yes. Alshon Jeffrey, I mean, that's a highly touted receiver. You know, he's really respected throughout the league. Played great in Chicago. Has made big catches for Philly. That's the other thing. And making break time, he drops it. But I don't know, man. That atmosphere, I don't get it because it's not like these dudes in the NFL, these receivers in the NFL can complain about their gloves not being sticky and go grab a new pair from the sidelines. So,
I mean, what is he doing there?
yeah.
I could have caught that ball.
The Super Bowl is one. It's going to come down to the Chiefs Patriots game next week. Whoever wins, that's winning the Super Bowl.
You think that really?
Yes.
That.
You confident in that?
Yeah, I am.
Even if the Rams make it?
Yes.
Now who gets home field advantage if the Patriots and Rams make it?
Home field.
Oh,
Yeah,
bro. Both.
Can't take you serious.
You
Yeah.
can call timeout.
You even watch the National Football. You even watch the National Football League there, buddy?
I mean, I'd love for the Rams to come play at Foxborough.
Up for that one. That's a tough one. That's a tough
Tom
one.
Brady would be 8-0 in Super Bowls if that's how it works.
I mean, I can't take the Saints seriously. It went right to his hands. Hmm.
Go Saints, go.
You could tell he's disgusted. Listen, though. I mean, I respect Peterson a lot there because you could tell. I'm watching the replay of it right now. He's going over. He's supporting Alshon. Probably knowing, they're out of the playoffs at this point in time. Foles going over there, pick him up. That's part of football. That's You can tell that the Eagles are a great team because
Just-
there's a lot of teams out there that would have bitched at them. You
When-
know, a lot of coaches out there that would have put them down, things like that. So
It's not over yet, fellas.
I'm not just saying this because I'm a fan, but this just shows how privileged we've been in the last 18 years to watch what the Patriots do every year, to be a contender every year because it's so hard. It's so hard to do what they do, especially in football. It's just one of those sports that you don't see any other team do what they do every year and make the playoffs and be a contender. And I mean, just it's crazy. And you know, we're gonna see some. We're gonna see the best teams play next week.
I agree with that. But you know, no discredit to the Eagles. You can tell that there have been.
Easy money. It's not. They'll have a little time left. Not so fast.
We'll see. We'll keep it. We'll stay on until the clock hits 0 here
You're
because
gonna have about 20 seconds, buddy.
I mean,
Yeah.
you never know.
listen, Philly Magic. He just
They
never.
got a first down. I mean, what are we doing?
Smart 12-yard run.
Oh, that's tough.
Over.
Yeah.
Sean Payton, I don't want to hear a single word. Spygate, Mr.
I did see some. It used to be probably 5, 6, 7 years ago. The wild card used to be dangerous, but I saw, basically the last 4 or 5 years, the wild card hasn't been able to really do much. And I just think what you're seeing in the technology and the way the game is advancing, and the way people are able to play numbers and stuff like that. If you got to go try to win 3 playoff games, to make the Super Bowl, it's about impossible now. You're just not going to be able to do it.
I agree. Yeah. True. Well, that looks like it's going to be it, folks. Alvin Kamara with a 12-yard run there on 3rd and 10. Saints are celebrating. Eagles are weeping. But hats off to the Eagles. They played well. They fought.
Score a touchdown. That's devastating. They were driving down the field. That's tough.
That's a tough one. I mean, think of what's going on and put yourself in Alshon Jeffrey's shoes right now. Think of what's going on in that kid's head. I mean, that's a tough one. That's a tough.
Let the Nick Foles drama begin.
Now, okay, so do you think he's going to be a starting quarterback in the NFL next year?
Oh yeah, but he won't be for the Philadelphia Eagles.
No, yeah, he'll go somewhere else. I think too. I mean, a lot of teams would love to have him right now.
Oh, absolutely. So, do you think Carson Wentz is the Eagles' future? They're sold out 100% for Carson Wentz,
Yeah.
even after seeing what Nick Foles has done at the end of the year.
Yeah, they kind of have to. I think. I mean, it's a lot.
Yeah, just Wentz is younger. And he's proven when he plays well, he can lead you there.
He got a great record before he got injured last year.
So, and I think you just got to roll with Wentz where they're headed. And Foles is going to want big money because then if you don't go with Foles, I'm not sure what you would get for Wentz just because of the injury problems.
Yeah.
So I think you just roll with Wentz and you try to find a steady backup. But people paid that big money for Kirk Cousins. I can't imagine what somebody's going to pay for Nick Foles.
Yeah, no.
Real.
Well, Who Dat Nation won. New Orleans Saints final 2014. Any more comments on the game? I really don't have much. If Alshon catches that ball, it's a whole different ball game. We could see Philly winning right now, but luck ran out. I think this is the way things happen. Fun game to watch, though. I mean, it was a game that went back and forth pretty much all night. You guys got any last comments?
I mean, just like Zai kind of mentioned a minute ago, the 1 and 2 seeds are in the AFC and NFC title games, so they're supposed to. It's not no surprise, I think in all of us, we kind of all expected it, no surprises here. So
I agree. Zai, Little D, anything?
Next week's gonna be the next games are gonna be fun. They're all gonna be fun to watch.
It's gonna be
Hey, the Saints will lose if Michael Thomas gets shut down.
it's gonna be Rams Patriots Super Bowl.
talk about Mahomes, Breeze, Brady, 3 MVP candidates. Throw in Todd Gurley, who if he was healthy would have probably stayed as an MVP candidate.
Oh, Aaron Donald there, buddy. Donald.
Stop it. So you got a lot of big names. it's going to be fun to watch. They'll see, and it's going to be either way. There's going to be a lot of storylines going in that Super Bowl.
Definitely, absolutely, absolutely. Well, if you guys don't have anything else, we'll wrap it up. I want to say thanks to everybody for taking time out of their day to join us. We always encourage interaction. So again, follow us, subscribe to us on every social media platform out there. But thank you for joining the Timeout crew today. Again, thanks Little Z for being on here. We appreciate Zachary. We appreciate you joining us tonight. Hopefully we can get you on here a lot more, in the upcoming episodes. But stay tuned. We'll be on again some more this week. I'm sure we'll have our conference championship predictions as well. But I think, most of us are going to sign off and watch this Michigan Northwestern game here. So, but thank you guys. Thank all of you for watching and for joining us. And we hope that you continue watching. And we'll talk to you guys soon. See ya.